Hello and welcome to Geek Speak with Envision IT, the podcast for business leaders and technology experts that like to stay on top of the latest security news and listen to interviews with insightful industry leaders. I'm Bill Crane, Chief Stakeholder Architect and CTO with Envision IT. Let's get started. As we wrap up 2021, we thought it'd be interesting to look at some of the biggest news of the past year, maybe some of the good and bad and the things that we've learned, as well as we have a lot of questions still around Log4j, or maybe you've heard of Log4Shell, what that is, what are the concerns. So we'll talk through some of that as well. So this past year certainly has not been a slowdown for ransomware or breaches. Unfortunately, we don't see a slowdown there. And, you've seen some of the stats where there's ransomware every 11 seconds. And I think the good thing is, unfortunately, everyone is aware of the issues now. So I think we've had a lot of training, a lot of security awareness, and people do understand that, as an individual, a small organization, a large one, these things do affect you. So we have to take them seriously, act fast, and basically shore up all of our security around all of our systems as well. So last year we had some interesting big attacks. One was SolarWinds, which was a supply chain attack. And that technically started in, believe it or not, 2019. That's when they believe they were first breached. And then December of 2020 is when we first heard about the issues. And then, the fallout was definitely the beginning of 2021. The scary thing there was, again, being a supply chain attack. We have a trusted piece of software that's in a lot of organizations, and some bad actor basically injected some malicious code, and that got pushed out through updates to a lot of organizations. Something a little bit similar was the Kaseya attack. Kaseya is a tool used to manage systems, and of course it runs at very high levels. Again, bad actors discovered some flaws, and they were able to push out ransomware and affected a huge number of people. I'd say the good thing, if there is anything good about that, certainly awareness, but also, we start to see our government get more involved, at least visibly get more involved with some of those big attacks as well. So the FBI, the Cyber Command, Secret Service, and quite a few other countries got together and worked on REvil. You've heard of REvil before, one of the largest ransomware gangs. They basically took that gang down. Now, unfortunately, we've seen this in the past where some of these organizations will disappear and they'll come back as a different name. That likely has already happened with REvil or maybe will happen. But it's really good to see the government's getting involved with that as well. I think that really is important and needs to happen to slow these things down at all. One of the things that we can talk about as well, as I mentioned, we had some questions about the vulnerabilities around Log4j that came out last week. Log4j is a logging system, part of the Apache system. It is a interpreter, so people use that to, build out systems, and then they use that for logging. And unfortunately, there is a mistake, if you will, in that code where people, again, unfortunately, out on the internet, they can have some code that they send into the system. The system reads that and unfortunately can take actions that you don't really expect. So someone could have a URL they send to a particular system open on the internet. The Log4j system interprets that and executes code. And unfortunately, that bad actor now has root access on that system and can take it over. So what makes this different than all these other vulnerabilities that we have is this is a implementation of software that's used in thousands and thousands of systems, and unfortunately some of these systems don't get updated anymore. I guess the only good news is that it's very well known, and the big organizations are definitely taking this very seriously, and they're coming out with either mitigations or patches to resolve these issues as well. So that's what is going on with Log4j. Again, you got to watch for your vendor updates for all the systems you have. And as soon as they come out with updates or mitigations, you need to apply those as well. That's it for 2021. We wish you a happy, healthy, and safe 2022. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions or if you have future topics you'd like us to cover, please connect with us via the link in the show notes. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Geek Speak with Envision IT.